Okay. Genetics. Um, Part 4, inheritance type number 3. All right, maybe I'll just do the inheritance type. That'll be easier for us to keep track of. So we had our number 1 was just regular dominant versus recessive. Part 2 was incomplete dominance. Part 3 is a new type of inheritance, and that is codominance. Okay, so codominance. For incomplete dominance, we had a blending or a mixture, creating a third phenotype. Codominance, both traits are going to show up. So here we are. We have a roan cow is the type of hair this cow has. It has a gene for that red, burnt orange color, a gene for the white color. And rather than blending or one being dominant over the other, we can see that they both show up. Okay, so here's a cow that has 2 different colors of hair found throughout its body. Okay, so for codominance, the heterozygous trait is both are present. All right, so no blending, no dominant one or the other, both show up. The human example of that is quite interesting, and one we're going to spend a little time going into because it is useful, and that is blood types. All right, blood types are the best human example of codominance, and we'll go through what those are. All right, so we all have blood types. All right, we all blood. I should maybe start with that. But then your blood has what we call a type. And what is that blood type? Okay, we classify it by which protein markers are on the surface of the cells. We talked about this a little bit when we talked about cell membranes, is that you have receptor proteins, you have identifier proteins in the cell membrane that tell your body, hey, this is one of your cells. This is a good guy, all right, as you're going through. All of your body parts have this. Blood is just one that we tend to focus on, and it's one of the more obvious ones. Once again, but it belongs to the body. That way, if there's something else in your blood, bacteria, a virus, some other cells, your body knows, hey, this isn't us, okay, and it knows that your immune system should go and attack that thing. So chemically, think of it like a basketball jersey. All right, so you know which team the other everyone's on, so you can quickly identify who's on our team, who isn't on our team. So here's a look at the 4 blood types. Okay, we have type A. Underneath that, we see it says AAAO. We'll get into that. We have type B. We have type AB, and we have type O. All right, so those are our 4 blood types that we as a human species have. I don't know how other species works. I should look into that sometime. Anyway, those are your 4 blood types. That means that you have these antibodies. So your immune system that attacks the other ones. So I'm a type A, all right, type A blood type. That's the most common type of blood. So that means that I have these B antibodies that will attack and kill type B cells. The opposite is true for type B. If you're type AB, here's an example of that codominance. So if you have a gene for type A blood and a gene for type B blood, then they're both going to be expressed on your cells. And then type O. Interesting. Let's get more. Okay, this is the money slide. Whoops. This is the slide that is the most important for the day. All right. So blood type is interesting because there are actually 3 different options. So we don't have, tall or short, purple or yellow. It is A, B, or O. Okay. Since you have 2 genes, that means there are 6 possible combinations. I have that in the box over here. All right. We can be homozygous for type A or heterozygous for type A, homozygous for type B, heterozygous for type B, type O, or type AB. Now, A and B are codominant. That's the example we're focusing on. But O is always recessive. Okay, type O just means you don't have that protein marker. And so if A or B are present, then yeah, those jerseys are going to show up. Those markers are going to show up. The only way to have type O is by having 2 O genes. All right. Once again, that is the slide you need for the test, for today's homework, that kind of thing. A little bit more. This isn't going to be on any assessment we have, but since I have you and we're talking about blood types, this is useful. So maybe you'll give blood someday. Maybe you'll receive, hopefully not, a blood transfusion. That is where we give you somebody else's blood due to an injury or different cancer treatments. We have to be careful about whose blood we give you. All right. Type O, if you have type O, we can give your blood to anybody because there's no markers to identify them on the outside. So think of it like we're playing basketball again, and there's somebody doesn't have a jersey on yet. They can be on any team. If you're type A, you can receive type A blood. If you're type B, you can receive type B blood. And if you're type AB, you can receive any blood type because you have all the uniforms on as you're going. So kind of an interesting bit there. We also have positives and negatives with our blood. You do not need to know any of this, but another marker is the RH factor that we identified in the rhesus monkey. So we have the RH factor. If you have that, that means that you're positive. So my blood type is A positive. That means I have the A proteins on the outside and I have this RH factor on the outside. All right. We're not going to do any genetics with the RH factor. It's just further explaining what blood type you might have. So we are going to, that gives us our 8 different blood types that humans could have by having 3 alleles, A and B being codominant, and then factoring in the blood types there. I'm sorry, the RH factor. So, hey, that was a lot on codominance and human blood types. Make sure you check this video out while you are working on that assignment that goes with it. Best of luck.